Big Finish Audio, the Paternoster Gang, dining with death.
Dun dun dun!
That is such a stereotypic Doctor Who title, too.
Yes. And then, so yes,
So Strax is very honored to be a butler.
temporary demotion. Well, honor's been satisfied.
Don't you feel honored to be your position in this household as butler? Oh, yes, ma'am, but I think I would be better served going with Jenny. After all, I'm the tactician.
Yes, it made me think that it sounded dangerously close to. Do you wish to keep your job? Sort of. I know it's not what she was probably going for, but just how it was read, it sounded a little close to that. Do you like your job?
Yeah, but I think it's more because of the characters and how Strax is. It wasn't so much questioning if he wanted to keep his job as
Yeah, I understand, but yeah, it's just
questioning
sort of
to make him like, of course I do.
out
Right,
of
they pay.
out of context, without knowing the
True.
kind of relationship that they have. It sounded like somebody trying. You will do this, or you will be fired. It's
Wait, they pay him?
No, they
no,
pay him room board and energy to keep him alive.
I can see that.
but he also has crab robots.
Yes, those crab bots were just something else.
Yes, the lipids are. No, it's clogged with lipids. It's like somebody doesn't save their grease. um,
You have to dispose of that stuff properly, not down the drain.
yes.
That is very true.
What
What you
else?
do is you collect it in a glass jar, you stick in a cloth, you pour in a little bit of more liquid grease, you light it on fire, and you throw it at somebody. Obviously.
Yeah, duh.
Although I shouldn't say that because that does sound like something Strax would do.
Why would
That
I
is
go with something so pedestrian? I have grenades.
that is tactically unsound. You realize that those lipids are highly flammable and very useful in explosive situations.
uh,
Man, that shit's the bomb. That's what I said.
yes, and diplomatic negotiations are always interesting.
Especially, I know we already mentioned Star Trek today, but that did feel like a Star Trek episode right there.
Yeah, a little bit. Just trying to. Okay, these two
Appease.
they were trying to play mediator, which is that's a very Star Trek thing, a very next gen thing to do. They think they did
It
that
does.
quite a bit.
Actually, it sounded a lot like one of my favorite next gen audios. Not audios as in like this kind of thing, but book that was read.
Audiobook.
Audiobook, yeah. Q and Law, which is read by Delancey and Michelle Barrett. And it is Q meets Loxana Troy.
The fact that you don't have to
Anything
explain it any further is just like, yep,
yeah,
okay.
anything you're thinking, it's even better than that.
Yes.
We should review that sometime.
Q and Luxana Troy. Yes, okay, yeah. I know what Luxana Troy is like, and I know what Q is like, and Yeah, okay, yeah.
He he tried to he tries at some point to seduce her, okay?
And ended up, and she ended up fighting back with the same stuff.
Yeah, it is just too rich. And it ties so well into Cupid too. Like that flows perfectly into the episode Cupid.
But yeah, I
Like
mean,
just so brilliant.
in fact, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, there is a TNG episode that's very much like this, where they had to kind of keep them separated and keep the weapons put away. It's like, and I think there was I forget what the problem was. I think maybe somebody was killed and they thought it was the other one that was doing it, but it was some weird phenomena that the Enterprise was going through at the time or something. I don't know. But yes,
Yeah,
diplomatic relations seems very.
it it just feels like a TNG episode taking place in Victorian England.
Yes. Um, okay, so one of them, I know one of them looked like a walrus without their
Perception filter.
perception filter. Did we ever find out what the other one looked like, or was it?
Fox.
Oh yeah, Fox. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, because they had the shockingly ginger. Everybody was
Yeah.
shockingly ginger.
They're all red, they're all ginger. You mean they all had red hair? Yes. Which, I mean, that's a Sherlock Holmes episode right there.
Yeah,
Like, Sherlock Holmes book right there.
yeah. That was a story.
Yeah. And
Uh,
an episode of the Jeremy Brett series.
Red-headed League.
Yes.
Uh,
Because Jeremy Brett is the best Sherlock.
let's see what the comments go off about that.
Hey, I love Cumberbatch. I adore I think his the contemporary Sherlock is brilliant, and they did a great job with keeping it close to the actual books while modernizing it.
Yeah.
But I think Jeremy Brett did a better job of Sherlock as Sherlock because it was more because it took place in that era and they didn't have to do as much conversion.
Well, I didn't have to do any conversion except for maybe some speech here and there that modern audiences wouldn't understand. Maybe.
It, they they basically were able to just play it from the book, and
Yeah.
they played Brett played him perfectly, and both because at some point in the series they had to switch Watsons. Both played off of Brett perfectly with that. So my opinion stands. uh, although I gotta say, Vostra makes a really good Sherlock too,
Yes.
because she basically is supposedly in this verse.
Well, and she's kind of sort of a Picard detective, sort of. Well, maybe not that. She's very much trying to keep this thing from blowing up.
Yeah.
She's got that style, even though that British diplomatic style, but it's, though to be fair, Picard is supposed to be French,
Yeah.
but whatever. Why didn't they bother just giving him a name that made sense?
I know.
They could have called him anything. Called him Picard. It's like you got a fine British actor. You're gonna give him a French name.
I
Okay.
know, and you suppose that you make the character French. Although, to be honest, they probably had the character designed that way to begin with, and they just cast him
Yeah,
So
but you think they
it
would have,
that's how
they could have
the case
changed
was.
something, like,
Yeah.
instead of, if it was, being French was not that important to it, wasn't that integral to his character. I mean, other than the vineyards, there really
Yeah.
wasn't much integral to his character about being French. I mean, sure, he did the Frere Jacques, but did sing that, but yeah, but he could have been, I don't know,
Of French descent.
yeah, or he could have been, he could have just changed his last name and made him changed his full name and just changed it to something English, and then just,
John Luck Pickard?
yeah, you could have called him, something John something, whatever it would be, um, and
Or
put
even
him,
just being of French descent is fine.
yeah, but
Although,
English raising.
didn't his brother have an American accent, if I remember
I don't
correctly?
remember, but yeah, it just didn't make any sense. You have this great British accent, and she's like, he's French. What? Like, he's gonna be English. Make him English. If you need him to have his brother to be running something, it could be a sheep farm or something.
No, that's Welsh.
Well, it's still. I know Welsh is
That
more
was
known for it, but I gotta imagine there are sheep farmers in English, in England. Yeah.
that was a joke. That was that was more of a joke, you know. Why are there so many cliffs in Wales? So the
Yeah,
sheep push them.
I got it. I know what that was about, but it's like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, no. Anyway, digression. Back on task. Um,
Midrock is now just fantasizing about Picard doing things to sheep. That's all.
Sontarha, Sontarha.
Oh, I don't have to imagine. I'll just put on my Picard mask.
Oh God! Don't go
What are
harassing
people
sheep.
doing?
But
On second thought, don't tell me I don't need those details.
but yeah, uh, just to show what a Sontaran is, it's like, you run through that wall. What? Are you sure?
Okay.
Okay. Sontar. I think I'm getting a hang of this diplomacy business. I should work on a Strax impression. That's not that far off.
No, it's you need a little more force behind it, and your tone needs to be a little more clipped,
But yeah, that's just me.
a little more rough.
Yeah, I
Like
wasn't even
you
trying, and I was like, that's actually pretty close for not even doing any work on it. So maybe I could work on a Strax impersonation. A Strax impersonation. Yes. uh,
I love Strax. He is so much fun.
yeah. Um.
I love how they're like, so what was this? These terrible aliens that are attacking you. I think they're called Centaurans.
Oh.
They're human. He's like, Strax, don't say where you're from.
You are an Earthling. You are a human.
I am one of these primitives. No, I am a centaur.
uh, I just. It's so much. um, that one diplomat was just.
Oh
This
my
is
god.
against protocol. You
Oh
know,
my gosh. Flowers. Those are purple flowers.
blue. There were blue cornflowers, and they were supposed to be
Oh, they were
purple.
blue corn
They'd
flowers.
agreed
They were
upon
supposed.
purple.
Those are blue flowers. Yes, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they're blue. They're supposed to be purple.
Well, I mean, it was also a cultural thing, so I mean,
Yeah, but just, I swear that you call that one Karen and they'd fit right in the
yeah,
that
I
alien with a
understand being, offended to a certain extent, but it's like you're a diplomat. You should be the hardest people to offend
right.
because getting offended, other than using it for leverage in a negotiation, really, if you're if you're negotiating, you're opposing force in negotiations, would be a good lever to work on them. There's really not a lot of use for it because it slows down diplomacy, it interferes with it, and it makes you look a little stiff. But if that's what you want to look like, then that's your thing. But it depends on negotiating strategy and that sort of thing. But
Yeah, but this is, this, they were just trying to make peace, so you want to have a little more give than just like
yeah,
every freaking thing offends you.
yeah, that would be more, and especially since they for the most part they'd already worked out, like the guys who got blown up, like those
Blown
people
in.
blown in, you mean
Suck it up.
implosion, but the guys who'd gotten killed in the first act, you know, especially with them already having they were basically ready to sign when it happened. So you know, if they were already ready to sign, I mean, there wasn't really a lot to negotiate anyways. It was mostly just get both parties to one neutral place at one time, take the agreement that was already sort of put together, and then just sign it. Just that's all you needed was a party from each willing to sign the thing, go to the neutral site, sign it. Everything else is just sort of window dressing.
Yeah,
They did
probably did.
negotiate a little bit, but it just seemed like okay. The other guys spent probably weeks, months putting together this agreement, and they got it to the point. They polished it to a high sheen to where both sides were happy. And these apparently were your best diplomats. Both sent your best diplomats to deal with this. And so, if you both sent your best diplomats, this was basically done. It was polished to a high sheen. You just needed to send a couple people to deal with it. Um, and so, like, it really didn't need all those things. It's just, it could have been purely a signing ceremony. We'd already agreed on this, so you know, just in principle, we'd already agreed on this. We'll just sign
This is why you need lawyers.
it. But yeah, or you wouldn't even need to meet in person to do it. You both send you just you agree on what
You
you'd already negotiated.
send a notarized signature.
Yeah. Well, you can't, have a secure link that both sides, with verified that this is this person, this is this person, which is all you need for the notarization. It's all just verifying. If you can verify that they're the right people. But then again, I guess, with um with the perception filter technology,
Yeah.
you can't really tell. um
You're not really a fox, you're a walrus.
oh dear. Cabbages and kings. uh, but which
Cuckoo.
yes. What was one of the foods that they were looking forward to was the whelk. Isn't I believe that's a type of shellfish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to Animal Crossing, it is. You you can catch that when you go diving.
Yeah, it's a sea snail. Yes.
Yeah, it's some sort of shelly thing.
Yes, it's a sea snail. But
Oh well.
yeah, which just brings back the memories of Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Oh, the clams. It's whelks. It was also nice that the touch in the background of him yelling about, "Oh, I'll get another. You've already eaten all of them. I guess I'll get another bucket." It was very much, it's what you expect from a fictional diplomat. I don't know. I've never sat down in a diplomatic meeting, so I don't know what their really diplomats are generally like. But I mean, other than using the offense for leverage, usually I imagine they're a bit more. They don't care as much about that. They're just like, okay, I want to get this done because I don't want to spend all night working on this. So let's work through what we can, and then you know that's just let's not waste time.
Yeah.
uh, but attack of the cheese. Is it supposed to be moving?
Yeah, it depends what kind of cheese it is.
Yeah, there is that specific kind of cheese that's got maggots growing in it or
Nugget.
something.
That's
Mhm.
illegal. That cheese is actually illegal in places,
I
including
Yeah.
America.
know. You even have to wear like goggles to eat it because they like jump like 5 feet in the air.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's
But I was thinking of that too. And then when it's like it's sticking to the thing and the smell made me think of Limburger cheese and then the sticking thing made me think of like Slimer or something. Like have you seen Alienators Evolution Continues, the cartoon series based on this movie Evolution with David Duchovny?
No, but now I want to.
Look, it's on YouTube. I think the entire series is on YouTube, at least the first few episodes. Um, but they have um this little creature called Gassy that farts every time it gets around the alien creatures because it's made out of the alien creatures but is made to detect them in kind of like a Slimer type pet. And that's what it made me think of because it's all blobby and globular like that and smells really bad and moves. And like you're cutting up Gassy. Which Gassy is actually like an acronym for something. I don't remember what it was because don't think this was like the early 2000s. This was like 20 years ago, but yeah, it's a good. It was a fun series from what I remember. But yes, the cheese. I will make the first cut. So you're saying you're cutting the cheese, huh? No wonder what that smell is.
Yes, that's exactly what I intend to do. I intend to carve this cheesy comestible. Why are you laughing? I'm going to cut the cheese. Why is this humorous? Do I have something on my face?
It's called a no. It's called a mustache apparently because you look like a walrus. It was the walrus one that cut the cheese, right? I think
I
so.
believe so, yes.
Yeah. I admit I was kind of giggling when he was talking about cutting the cheese.
Maturity.
I know, right? What is that?
But
What is this maturity of which you speak? I think I like that concept. Maturity is overrated. I prefer to blow things up.
Overall, it was a good episode. Mostly brought on because it has a lot of Strax, and it has a lot of Strax being Strax.
Yeah.
The diplomats are a little annoying, but it more than made up for by just having Strax be
Yeah.
Strax.
I mean, it was a Strax heavy episode, so of course it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was an episode just pure Strax, it would still be good.
Now there should be like a dream episode where like Strax is just having a dream and everybody is him, but like in different forms.
So basically, the master in that.
Yeah, but you have like a really tall Strax, like a medium Strax. Just everybody looks like Strax, but they're like in their normal like height and stuff.
That sounds traumatizing. Although Strax would be used to it because he's from a cloned society.
Yeah, it really wouldn't bother him. In fact, he would feel quite at home. Yes.
Exactly. Because that's kind of how his society is anyways. Everybody's Strax.
Yes. Everybody looks basically the same. Except within society, within Sontarans, they'd probably be more attuned to the differences between different Sontarans. Oh,
Oh,
yes.
saying all Centaurans look the same. That is
Well,
so,
considering they're a clone species.
so speciesist.
Though they have said that they do have enough of a diversity that they do end up with different, people being the Centaurans being slightly different, but mostly the same.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, they do have scarring and stuff because they're warriors.
Yes, yeah, scars, or this one shines his head a little differently.
You
And this one has giant balls. He keeps them in his garage.
He plays with them regularly.
The kids just love them.
Ugh. Okay.
Where did your mind go,
They're
pervert?
very bouncy.
But
Oh, doctor, look at the balls on that one. Yes, they are rather large, aren't they, Jamie? That's actually a line from a Doctor Who episode.
I suspected as much. um Anything else we want to talk about with this one?
Not really. Aside from don't pour fat down the drain.
Yes, if you take nothing else away from this little diversion, collect your fat, and don't use flushable the even the flushable wipes. Don't
Yeah.
use those, because those clog up the pipes and create fatbergs. And then the people who do the sewer maintenance have to go down there and deal with them. So
yeah, it's disgusting.
So
I've seen it. Just don't do it.
yeah, so
And remember, just because they say flushable wipes doesn't mean they're flushable.
doesn't mean they won't. They may be able to be flushed, but they may not be a good idea to flush. Just use some toilet paper.
anything, if you cut it down small enough, is
Yes,
flushable.
it's technically flushable, but yes, just don't contribute to the fatbergs that they're already having to deal with. So don't use flushable wipes, and don't pour your
And don't
oils and
flush
fats down the drain.
and don't flush body parts down the drain.
Well, I mean, if you put them through the food disposal,
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I don't have a food disposal.
you do have it in the sink. The little turn it on. Yeah, we got one. So the incinerator, but yeah, yeah, that but yeah, you can just use that to grind it up slow. You don't want to overheat it, but yeah, flush it down the drain, then bleach it so you get rid of any DNA.
Flush some animal fat too, just to grind up some animal bones too, so that it gets mixed in and hard to differentiate.
Yeah, but anyway, so yes, no fat down the drain. Don't pour fats down the drain, and don't use flushable wipes. These cause clogs. The people who are doing sewer maintenance have to deal with this. It's
And then
disgusting.
Strax's crab bots get crabby.
Yes, yes. So I don't want them to have to do more than they have to down there. Like they already have to do a not fun job. They're getting paid for it, but it's not a fun job. So why not make it? When it's so easy not to make their jobs harder, let's just not make their jobs harder. It's already an unpleasant thing to do to go down there anyway when you have to go down there to fix a sewer pipe or whatnot, and or unplug a normal clog. Just just don't add to their problems.
Now I kind of wonder how often they find like body parts and stuff.
It depends. Storm drains. I wouldn't be as. I think a lot more to storm drains than sort of uh, toilet and household waste drains. I don't think you're gonna get as much of that, like, because you'd have to pour it down you'd have to find an opening big enough to put a body part down, and you'd have to
Plus, I mean,
pull
there's
up the
this.
toilet or something to put it down there, and even then it would get stuck, and it just
Yeah.
But a storm
And
drain
try
has big enough openings that you could shove a body down it, or
and try
body parts could
explaining that
fall in
to your
it.
plumber.
What?
And try explaining that to your plumber.
Well, the storm drain doesn't even bog your stuff down. It just bogs
No.
this.
I mean, like the
Oh,
house.
yeah, trying to put it down on one of the household.
It's never a good idea to dispose of a body in your own home.
Yes.
Like so much evidence. If you're gonna do the deed, do it outside the house. Do it somewhere far away. Leave all electronics at home, including your cell phone, your watch, your credit cards. Pay in cash. If you got to take a taxi or something, don't take a taxi directly to it. Don't drive to it. And just don't do it in general and don't get caught.
Or if you do it, please do get caught, because I don't want murderers running around.
Oh, yeah. Right. Totally.
Uh,
Oh,
but anyway, I think we've hit the public service announcement a little hard on the end of this, but we're getting a little Orphan 55. So before we get too far down that hole,
yeah.
I think we'll call that a review.
Yeah.